crazy?
Because that's how much of a nerd he really is. He'll do it live.
You'll just get the facts wrong. Well, thanks, Alex, for the great introduction, even though it was kind of cut short by my egotism. I am a nerd. My name is Husker Brouwer, and I'm going to do a presentation about video games. And like, we've got people showing up here who've done like fitness and man-machine interface is real cool, and I'm here to talk about video games. How much nerd than that can you get? And it's not even just video games, it's really specific. It's action games. Can you just imagine how cool that sounds? So we even call it crazy games when we're among friends. Apparently I am number one. I am one of the best. I have been called the best in some sort of game, or the insanely good player, or the really good guy, or the nice guy, and in all honesty, who cares? It's not that important. I don't really care. I think it's just really fun. And this presentation isn't really going to be about that. It's going to be about the community around it, about the people that make people like me invest so much time in a video game that's enough time to fill it a complete study in. Like, I could have gotten a job, get married, and have kids in the time that I spent into one little game. So what kind of pushed me to do that? And you know, first off, I thought it'd be cool to sort of start off with a video that shows just what an action game is. This video is not by me, it's by DS Leo, so shout outs to him. Video time. Please. I didn't install ad blocker, you filthy piece of shit. Vincent, why don't you install ad blocker? Ah, I want to skip this ad. It's a beautiful ad. Yeah? Oh, wait, the music. Oh. You didn't turn off the music.
Oh no.
It's for Spotify. Where's Spotify? Use Spotify. It is good music. But it's not very action music. There.
Where's my music?
You'll get your music back in about 30 minutes? 30 minutes? 30 minutes. In about 30 minutes. Now, Alex, I'm joking. It's going to be 2 hours.
Oh.
Joke's on you. Video time. So, action games. It's pretty much about a guy that you're controlling that has a sword, and you're fighting lots of enemies. But what's really important about that video I just showed you, apart from that what this genre is about, is that this video wasn't made by one person. It was made by about 100 players who all submitted their own play style, their own work of art within that game, like how they played, what they knew about the game. And that's really special because doesn't everybody in the internet hate each other? Well, these people don't. And that is mostly because in my opinion, there are two types of players. And the entire action game genre falls into the second type of player, because the first type of player is the player that likes to play together. They like to play with other people. They like to play with their friends. They like to play against their friends. It's a really competitive atmosphere. And what that breeds is sort of a competitive... In that competitive atmosphere, like if you go on a forum and you say, hey man, I really got a lot of trouble with that one fight. Like, I can't get past it. You're gonna, oh, well, you're such a noob. Why don't you go kill yourself? Oh no, you gotta stop playing the game, man. A faggot, if you have trouble right now, you gotta get the fuck out of here. Well, and if you're playing... What the hell was that? Is Skype still on? Nice. Who am I chatting with? And then there are those who want to play against the machine, who play it solo, who play against single player. And if you go on the forum like that, especially in the genre, you'll ask questions, hey man, I can't beat those demons, like how can I get past? And you're like, oh, well, if you go to the left, that's a lot easier, and or you can do like this, you do like that, you get tips. When I first started this genre, I was really bad at it, and I posted a topic on the forum, and I got 250 replies of different types of people, and they were really nice, because I showed respect. And that's because we're heading on a single adventure. We all have that one adventure on our own. But these games sometimes take 3 hours to beat. Yet we play them for over 3,000 hours. There are players who have logged over 5,000 hours in just a game that takes them about 3 hours to beat from start to finish. Like I could go, probably during this time of this presentation, I could beat the game that I'm going to talk about in about 10 minutes.
Oh!
Yes, I can do that. I think I can, if I'm lucky.
Prove it!
You're on! I don't have the game with me. Can somebody go buy it for me? Alex, I'm looking at you. And this thing builds camaraderie. Like we're all in this game together. We're not playing against each other. We're playing together. Because these games are pretty damn difficult. They're a man-made puzzle. Like the designers built these games from the ground up to be difficult and to challenge us players into thinking outside the box. Like they'll give us engagements, new combat scenarios that we have to figure out. You can't just mash a button and get through these games. You have to actually know like what's going on. And I just like this picture. The genre is built around this. He's a nice developer. He doesn't make action games. I don't know why I put him in, but I suddenly felt like he has to be in here. I mean, just look at him. Isn't that like every gamer out there? They don't care. Because, well, like I said, these games are quite insane. And I'm actually going to show you some of this insanity. This is a video by Miduki Ashino. Miduki Ashino is a really good Ninja Gaiden player, which is a sort of ninja-like game. It's kind of in the name. Gaiden being a spin-off, I think, for Japanese. I don't know. It's a really cool video, and I'm going to illustrate with this. Try and keep in mind what I just said, and try and remember what you see in this video. It's going to be really complex, and you're probably not going to understand anything that's going on, except that it looks really cool and bloody. But I'm going to use it afterwards to explain some other stuff.
More blood.
More. I can barely see anything. I think that's enough blood for now. Next slide. Alright, so we just saw, you probably were thinking like, alright, this guy's holding like his control and going like this. Well, actually, no. But what I'm going to explain right now is what we deal with every time when we play these games is, I'm going to explain this little combat scenario. Because this is how the games are designed. This is Ryu, he's a ninja. But you can tell because he's holding a pole arm instead of a sword. Which is one of the details of those games. You have multiple weapons, multiple options. These are Bast Fiends. They are cat-like demons. And I actually thought I had 2 hands available for this, so I'm going to grab this little thing here. Please, don't destroy any of the cables. Oh god, I did not see that cable. Give me, no. Yes. Never done this before. Like this, okay. For instance, I'm going to explain this combat scenario now. Like, these Bast Fiends, they have multiple attacks. Like, this is Ryu, this is the Bast Fiend. They're called Bast Fiends. I don't know who names these games. I call them cats. Silly Japanese. These bastions have multiple attacks. Like they have a pounce in which they jump at you. If they jump at you and they hit you and you're guarding, your guard breaks, meaning you can't do anything for a few seconds. But if they also have a multiple 4-hit combo. If they do that, you can just block that. They also have a grab. They jump at you and they grab you and they throw you on the ground, which is not fun. They can also jump around you just to fuck with you because these designers hate your guts. What else do they have? They have the pounce, triple, yeah, that's it. But that's just one cat. Like if you have one cat, you can just hold block, and if your guard breaks, you're fine because he's still recovering from that pounce. But what if there's two? So one is pouncing at you, and one is doing his 4-hit combo. You dodge the pounce and then counter the 4-hit combo. But what if you get hit? And what's the other cat going to do after he recovers? And then you also reach another part. How do you know what he's going to do? He's a computer. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. So then you have to start learning the game and investing time into it. For instance, these cats make sounds. They have sound effects when they do certain attacks. If they do a pounce attack, they will do a very long cat-like screech. Like a "Wah!" But if they do like a 4-hit combo, they're going to do "Wah!" It's really funny. But that way you suddenly start to realize if you can't even see the cat and you can hear that scream, you suddenly realize, all right, I got to dodge out of there. And then you think like, all right, but there's the other cat over there, so I got to block, or else I'm going to get hit by that, and then the other cat's going to grab me. But what if the biggest encounter in this game has 5 cats? So how do you deal with that? Like 3 are about to pounce you, 1 is going to hit combo you, and 1 is going to grab you. How are you going to deal with that? Are you going to dodge out of the way for the first one and then block the other one? What about that grab? You can't block a grab. Are you going to just take the grab and eat it and hope you don't die? Are you going to minimize damage taken? Or are you going to try and survive? But if you survive, you're still alive. You haven't hit them. You just dodged for like an hour and you're still just standing there and praying like, give me an opening, goddammit. And with all that said, I'm going to show you a fight and just remember everything I just said, because I just explained it in like you have all the time in the world to think about, like, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. Well, you don't. And to make things even worse, this fight I'm going to show you also has red ninjas. Red ninjas are better than black ninjas because they're red. And red is an awesome color. Red ninjas have the same thing. They can attack, they can pounce, except it doesn't look like they're a cat. And they can throw shurikens. And these shurikens, of course, because it's a video game, they explode. Instead of they just hit you, they explode. Because video games. I want to give a big shout out to Timmy Gunn, who provided the video. He's one of the best Ninja Gaiden players out there. In my opinion, the best. Please no ads. Please, thank you. More sound. I wanted to wait until that kill. He's gonna have to kill 150 of these in a row to beat the fight. That takes almost, he has 3,000 seconds to get it done. I think you all just heard the sound effects that we're playing, like the cat screams. Those are the indicators he's using. Like somewhere in between, you see him suddenly dodge out of nowhere, and he dodges a cat pounce because he knew it was coming. Let me get to the next slide, because Google Slides sucks. And again, this provides camaraderie, because we don't know all of this out of the box. We don't buy the game and say like, oh yeah, if the cat does that screech that's slightly longer than the other one, he's gonna pounce and not do that attack. It's like at the back of the box. No, we learn it from each other, because we go on forums and we say, I get my ass kicked by that cat demon. And then somebody else says, I think if he screeches, he's gonna do that. Okay, I can use that. And then when you suddenly see someone else having trouble with that as well, you suddenly remember, hey, I got helped out when I had trouble with that cat feed. I'm going to help him out. I'm going to share that knowledge. And like that, an entire database fills up. With Ninja Gaiden, that's probably the most popular one out there. There is a database of over 200,000 videos of tips and tricks just out there floating. We have like a library. We have a website. We had a website. It shut down. One moment of silence for Iberians. Librarians? Iberians. It shut down. I'm really sad. But due to this, because we have such a big community, eventually, after we know all this, the challenge is gone. There's nothing left. Like, you play the game and you just run straight through. And it's over. Like I said, I could probably beat the game I'm going to talk about in about 5 minutes in about half an hour to an hour. And you're going to be like, yeah, it was fun. Let's put it away and wait for another game to release so I can learn everything all over again. But instead, we have runners. Runners are something unique in video games that don't exist anywhere else. Runners are people who specialize in a certain field inside video game. We have speedrunners. Whoa, that thing is bright now. Speedrunners are people who specialize in beating the game as fast as possible. Everybody here, at least a lot of people, probably sometime in their life played Super Mario Brothers. I'm pretty sure they did. Yeah, yay for Mario Brothers. The current speedrun on Mario Brothers is 4 minutes and 53 seconds. It takes me about a day to beat that game. And that guy can do it in 4 minutes. And these people really specialize in, like, how can I, they know everything. They know every frame, every enemy, every movement. And they specialize in that and then try to beat the game as fast as possible. And then we get to the handicap runners. I myself am a handicap runner. Handicap runners are people who have the game and suddenly decide, I'm going to take a few elements out of it to make it more difficult for myself. So I also force myself to learn something new. A good example, using Mario Brothers, and you can't really see it because this beautiful thing is in front of it. Is it bass? Is that a bass?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, it's a bass. All your bass. For instance, if you were to do a handicap run in Mario, a certain example would be a no run, no coin, no mushroom. That sounds really, really drug user. And no kill run. So I have this example here. Here's Mario. Say hello. Here are a couple of blocks, and here's a Koopa. Well, he can't run because you're not allowed to run. That's your handicap. You're not allowed to get coins, so you can't jump because you'll hit the block and get a coin. You can't have any mushrooms, so if you hit the Koopa, you're dead. And you can't kill the Koopa because you're not allowed to kill any enemies. So how do you get past this? Do you time the jump perfectly to get over him, but you might hit him? Do you get back up? Do you try to avoid to get in this situation altogether? And that's how a handicap run suddenly forces you to think differently of situations that normally I'd be like, oh, I got a mushroom, I'm just going to kill that fucking toad. And now suddenly you can't. You have to think outside the box. And by this, suddenly community gods get born. The community gods are people who are ridiculously good at these games, who play these games, like I said, for 3,000 hours, enough time to literally start a company. Alex, you shouldn't have started a company. You should just play video games, man. Just play video games. And these community gods, yeah, I looked up to them because when I joined this genre, I sucked so bad. Like I said, I needed a topic of 250 replies just to get through one of these games on its lowest difficulty setting. So I was pretty bad at them. And I also joined too late. All these games were already out. I could add nothing to the community. Every time I was like, oh man, I found this really cool technique. Yeah, we figured it out like 4 years ago. Like, it's cool that you find it out yourself, but we have like this library of games. But I still joined the community and I just hung out with them, and when I still had the knowledge that was already there. So if there were new people, I started to help them out as well. I started to be like this nice little tough guy who's got a cigar, and I was like, yeah, I know this. Not because I figured it out myself, but I know this. So yeah, I was never one of the greats, or even close to them, and anybody here who's ever played action games will know that this image is really funny. So I hope someone on the internet is enjoying the fact that I really specially selected this image to be placed here. You are special. But now we come to the question, why am I actually here? Because everybody can join a community and suddenly start talking about all those other people, but I do have to talk about myself at some point, even though I kind of don't like to do that.
Yeah, right.
That is indeed a lie. The next complete presentation is going to be my face plastered on everything. Then came Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, because try saying that 10 times fast. I actually looked it up, it's a word. Revengeance means revenge with a vengeance. I think that's a really cool explanation. I did not figure that out one out by myself. Now, I could just tell you what that game's about, but of course, I'm going to show you a video about how this game works and what it's like. This is the first fight in the game. Like, you got a really small one, but we don't care about that one. This is the first fight in the game, and try to remember the previous videos I've shown, because it goes to show just how batshit insane and over the top it is. Props to Sour, one of the best Bayonetta players, which I will not talk about because I'm not very good at that game, and I only like to talk about myself.
What? They had a middle here? Here? Right. They know that you have killed them. Use blade mode to damage it down. Catch that missile before it falls. Use your ninja line to deflect those shots. They swapped out the hydraulic cutter for a plasma cannon.
That was the first fight, and it only goes upwards from there. He just threw a mecha in the sky and just cut it to pieces, and he got a B rank. B is pretty low, so he didn't do that well. I'm sorry, Sour. I love you. So this was my first action launch game. The first game that I actually joined the day it got out. I remember I was doing my exams for the High Arts Academy in Utrecht, and on Friday the game came in, and my friend was at my place, and we were playing some other games, and suddenly I said, all right, it's nice that you're here, but I'm going to play this game. You can sit next to me, that's okay. But I'm going to play this game. And then I played it for about 4 hours. I don't know how that guy survived, just sitting next to me with a beer in his hands like, yeah, this is really cool, dude. And this was my smile back then. I was like, yeah, yeah. And then the next day I played for another 6 hours, and then I said, maybe I should do something about my comic book that I'm working on for my exam. I worked for like a half an hour. I'm really proud I did that, by the way. I really had to struggle, like, got to draw for a few seconds. And then I went back and I beat the game in a day. But instead of just, like, all the other players they played the game, then they played on the higher difficulty, and then the highest, and then they stopped or moved on. And I didn't even bother going up in difficulty. I started experimenting, just like all the other users. I was curious, like, all right, we have this enemy. I don't feel like beating him the normal way. What happens if I don't use my pole arm weapon? What if I just use the sword? Or what if I don't block and just allow myself to just dodge? How do I deal with these situations? So I was starting, without being actually knowledgeable about the facts, I started building handicaps. I started giving myself restrictions to learn more about the game. And eventually, I started to pretty much accumulate a large database of tips. I'm not exaggerating when I say that right now, about 50 to 60% of all the knowledge about this game comes from me. If you're using a tactic, there's a good chance it came from my hand. But that's still the beauty of it. Even I can still learn from other players. Because sometimes a player comes online and he has a tip, or somebody else asks for advice, and then some guy who just played the game once comes in and says, like, yeah, why didn't you just run to the right? And I'm like, why didn't I think of that? That's brilliant! Right is always the perfect choice. So you can always learn from other people, even though you've invested thousands of hours, and that's the beauty about these games. Now comes the part for everybody who hates people who brag about themselves. This is the part where you have to get out of here, because now I'm going to go full brag mode. Is everybody ready? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Brag mode. These are all the ability. Oh. Ah. Did somebody like push it slightly? All right, I'm just going to explain it. These are all the abilities in the game. I tried to word them so people might understand, but I'm just going to name them all really quick. Ninja Run. Ninja Run allows you to run really fast and over obstacles. Light attack, very fast but doesn't deal a lot of damage. Heavy attack, deals a lot of damage but is pretty slow. But he attacks with his feet. He holds his sword in his feet. It's really cool. You can jump. Big shocker. You can dodge. You'll dodge to the side, dodge to the other side, dodge back, dodge forth. You have skills. Not in the way that where it says skills are viable new moves like an uppercut or a 360 spin attack that hits everything around you. You have the high frequency blade, which is your standard weapon, and you can upgrade its damage, which means you deal more damage when you hit enemies, so they die faster, and dying faster is cool, as long as it doesn't happen to you. You have energy upgrades, which means you have certain abilities which drain energy, not health, but energy, fuel, and this means that it drains slower. You can also absorb this energy by hitting enemies, so you can upgrade that. You have other swords which have different abilities. Some swords are faster, some are hit slower but deal more damage, some have special cutting capabilities. You have sub-weapons, rocket launchers, really cool. Strangely enough, don't deal as much damage as a sword though. You have a pole arm, which is a large stick. You have a sai. If anybody here ever watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, think Raphael. Like that thing. You have pincer blades. I can only explain these things like a big pair of shears, except you replace the shears with big swords. So you can cut people to pieces. Power costumes make you stronger. Blade mode cutting, you sort of saw it in the previous video. The guy can hold a sword like this and you can actually aim how you cut enemies. Blade mode cancel is way too complex. Let's just say it's really, really handy. Ripper mode, let it rip, allows you to deal more damage. Zandatsu allows you to rip out the spine from your enemy and like literally crush it in your hand, and it heals you, because video games are like that. Nano paste is like a sort of sunscreen you rub over your shoulders and it heals you. Parry is a block. Perfect parry is a counter block, which requires more timing. AR mode is completely useless. I'm not going to bother telling you about that. All fights. You can't really read that, can you? No. All fights means you do all fights in the game. You can skip a lot of fights. Stealth kills. You can kill enemies without being seen. New Game Plus. You can, after you've beaten the game, you can just continue on, meaning every upgrade you've earned, every weapon you've found, you can use that again from the start, which makes you stronger from the start. Increased health bar. You can make yourself more longevity, more alive. Increased fuel bar. You will have more energy. Execution. Oh, what's going on? There we go. Execution kills, you can kill certain enemies when they're at 1/4 of their health, and quick time events look cool. This is the standard handicap run a lot of people use. They disable damage upgrades, energy upgrades, absorption upgrades, New Game Plus, so they start fresh, always on the highest difficulty because we're like that. They don't use increased health bar or increased fuel bars. Alright? You seen this? You sort of understand it? This is what I have recently accomplished. It's a pretty big list. I'm not gonna lie, my total death count was over, I think it was about 322 deaths or something like that. So yeah, I did the entire game, highest difficulty, without any of those things. I also did it without this one and that one, but then I sort of enabled a couple of those. But the thing behind it is I didn't start like this. I didn't just boot up the game and say, like, oh yeah, I'm going to start like this. That'll be fun. No, it's not. You'll get destroyed. Because you don't know anything. You don't know those tilts, like those cat screams like I told you about. You don't know that yet. So you start off like this, and then what if I disable this one? Oh, what if I disable that one? And eventually I kept playing because every time I booted up the game, I started deciding, all right, what am I going to disable next? Am I going to disable not using the side weapon? All right, that normal dinosaur cyborg-like enemy, I always use the Psy on him. How do I deal with him now? And that's how I became pretty good at the game, but there's still a hidden challenge in the game. And that is pretty much the reason why I'm really proud, and a lot of people call me the insane player, is there's this guy. I can't really introduce him. I picked a video because he's the Senator of America, and you have to kill him. Because, you know, Japan, they're still pretty pissed off about Hiroshima. Sorry for being racist. And he's black, sort of.
To think, to act for himself. Fuck all these lunatic lawyers, chicken shit bureaucrats. Fuck this 24/7 internet spew of trivia and celebrity bullshit. Fuck American pride. Fuck the media. Fuck all of it!
You can't beat an intro like that. That's the first time he appears, by the way. He does some sort of speech with a cigar, but it's not important. This is how I always will remember him. Oh, no, I want to go to the next slide, you filthy piece of shit. Yeah, alright. Armstrong has a hidden challenge, hidden underneath his fight. His fight is pretty difficult. Every player who starts a game usually dies about 50 to 100 times against him, because he's pretty tough. But he has a certain move that activates when he loses exactly 29% of his 200% health, because why have 100% health if you can have 200% health? He can hit your sword out of your hands, and it just drops out right beside you, and you suddenly can do punches, kicks, dodge flips, and you can just pick up your sword back up again and just kick his ass. But what if you don't pick up the sword? That's what we were wondering. Heavy attacks with your sword deal about 3% damage. They're slow, he has 200% health, but it won't take too long. Normal attacks deal about 1.5% damage. Fist attacks deal 0.1% damage. That's gonna take a long freaking time to get him dead. Yeah, this is pretty much what that fight will look like for about 40 minutes. I really like this GIF. I want to have it like be my wallpaper or something. So yeah, this is a really ugly drawn diagram. Hello, diagram. This is the battlefield. This is Armstrong. He's the senator who hates the media. This is you. You've just lost your sword and you're a completely insane person who thought like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to try and beat this guy without picking up my sword. That sounds like fun. Sounds like fun. And then you suddenly realize that the game designers actually thought about this and it just let the fight continue on and it can actually end. Though we didn't figure that out until about 4 months later. Armstrong has a couple of attacks. He can feint out his moves, which is really annoying. He'll dash at you and then he can either grab you, he can kick you, and he has small tells in his shoulder movements. So if he jumps at you and his right shoulder goes slightly down, you know he's going to do a kick. But if he doesn't do that, then it's kind of in the air. He can do a lava shower. He will smash in the ground and lava will pop right up because Japan. And it'll cover a T-shaped area. But what this attack does, when he'll charge it, smack it into the ground, but if you walk around him, he'll turn with you and then smack the ground. So, how do you dodge that? Well, we found out by recording our attempts, because we did this as a community effort, well, about 5 players in total, because everybody was like, oh, fuck this shit, I'm not trying that. You enjoy being insane. We found out that there's 2 frames in a 60 frame game. That's 1/30th of a second in which he does not track your movement. So you have to dodge at the freaking last frame. Again, 1/30th of a second. That's pretty short. So that was a way we found around it. But again, it was with experimenting with the community, the camaraderie, the players that we knew and loved. We were on the forum. We constantly discussed like, how can we deal with this? Because we were watching our videos or attempts and suddenly noticing every time we die, we're standing over here, and we got a lava shower like this, and he's standing right next to me. Because, oh, by the way, you don't have your sword, so you can't block his attacks. He'll hit you right straight through because he's a dick. He also, aside from hitting the ground, he can also hit the ground and do something else. How do you know this? Well, there's small particles floating around him if he does certain ones, and the other ones, the ground crumbles. Again, those visual tells that you just have to know by playing this game more than drinking beer, which is pretty creepy. What else is there? Well, basically what it comes down to is we kept trying, and eventually a lot of players quit. And after 4 months of about 1 hour attempts every night, and a lot of attempts in the weekends, I gave up. And then suddenly I posted one of the attempts online and said, it's impossible. Like, we give up. Nice that you put this challenge in the game designers, but we're done. And then this one guy gave a comment and said, like, what if you just try that? What if you do this? And I suddenly thought, like, he's got a good point. Because Armstrong, he has a, if he's standing, that was one, oh, I forgot to tell you about that. If you're standing behind him, there's two things that can happen. If you're standing really close to him, he'll like turn his head. He'll turn his head, and then he'll back fist you. And it's really fast, you can't dodge it, it goes way too fast. But if you stand behind him and you wait for him to turn his neck, then he'll do like this. And he can't do anything while he's doing that movement. So we suddenly decided, all right, we just wait for him to do that. So we're running circles around that jackass for hours, and he goes like, and like when this happens, we're like, oh my God, get that! And then we run away. But it was all kinds of these tips, and eventually another player said, like, there's an explosion that he does, he just does like this, and then there's a huge explosion, because again, Japan. And I kept trying to be real cool and dodge through an explosion, because you can do that, because games are weird that way. And if one player just said, why didn't you just run away from the explosion and then run back at him? And I was like, yeah, that's kind of a good idea. So I tried again for about another month or so. And then finally, I finally did it, and I screamed my lungs out like a little pussy. And I loved every second of it. I'm really closing out because that's it. Because at this moment, I'm still the only one who's ever done this. And nobody has, some people have attempted it, they've tried to, some people said, you know what, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it even harder. Yeah, they didn't succeed. Oh. I'm still very proud, and I'm still really big part of the community. And every time I watch this video, I'm really proud that I did this. And when I post this video and I see the comments and I've talked to other people in the community, it feels good. And what's really beautiful about that is when a new game comes out in the genre, I go to that forum and I suddenly see all these familiar faces that I know and love. And we sign up and we say, hey man, good to see you here too. And when I pick up another game, I might see another face like, hey, cool that you're going to play this game. Wow, let's hang out and have fun. And that's really it. I want to give special thanks to all these unpronounceable names. I won't pronounce them all. I just want to give a really big, two special shout outs to Murphy's Ghost and Fundrel, both American players. I've been hanging out with these guys for over 5 years and I've never met them, but every time I see their names online, it feels special. And I want to leave you all with this one final video. It's only 10 seconds long. Don't worry, Alex.
No, I'm not saying it.
¿Quién es ese güey?
Adios, amigos.
Because sombreros are cool. Thank you. Who wants the mic next? You want the mic? Here's the mic.
Let's give it up one more time for Husker Brouwer. You can now call yourselves one of the 30 very proud people that know Husker Brouwer. And you can brag to all your friends now with all the gaming knowledge that you have gained tonight. Are there any questions actually from the crowd for Husker? Because I'm actually pretty sure there might be some questions by now.
No?
Nobody has questions.
I'm very clear on my explanation.
That you are extremely clear.
How did your exam go?
What a surprise!
Yeah, I failed. I had to redo it 2 months later. I did not have time to finish it.
Was it a choice?
Yes, a very, very deliberate choice.
All right. Everyone, you can check out probably later. We're going to upload this video as well. So if you ever want to watch it again, you can check it out on YouTube. In the meanwhile, we're going to have a 5-minute break, and then we're going to be listening to Anthony Arkavikitikos. He's Greek, so he's a difficult surname. Thank you. Yes, awkward claps. Yes. Nice, nice.
Ja, ze staan ook in beeld van.
Hey, do your job!